What's up with you boys? Man, it's your boy. I'm DamarrGoCrzy or DamarrGoCrzyy. And today, bro, we finna be reacting to, the sad part of our childhood, dog. Childhoods ain't no longer the same. But shout out to my boy Tommy NFG for the video, bro. This joint is fire. Check him out, dog. He's way bigger than I am, but still, shout out to the dude. He produced W content, man. Anyways, follow me on the socials. They in my link, in my about me on YouTube, bro. Anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping. Deuces.
To be young. Coming back from elementary school after a great workload of 2 assignments and a multiplication time.
Facts.
Y'all not running me in these, just saying. You got some silly bands you traded with your friends on the recess court. You come back home for a big bowl of cereal and turn on the TV to either watch your favorite Disney show, your favorite Nickelodeon show, or your favorite cartoon show. You get bored, but no worries, because you call your friends over and run any game on the Wii Sports, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros, or anything really. This was the childhood of
the good old days.
But now we're starting to see a
shift.
Childhood being set up. One involving TikTok and brain rot. One involving Lunchlene, the Haktua podcast. And I think it's official to say that childhood isn't the same. If you're older than 21 nowadays, you're basically considered unk by kids that are 12. You struggle to keep up with all the new slang coming out. So I want to talk about, is this a good or bad thing when this great shift happens? Starting off with... Now, if you're in the older half of Gen Z, you kind of have the unique experience of experiencing a great childhood where you actually went outside and played with your friends. Then when you got older, getting technology and it being adapted into society, it was kind of the perfect mix, because you learned human connection as every kid should know and needs, and then got the ease of technology to help you through life at a time when you needed it most. But when the iPad got introduced and kids started using it, things immediately shifted. Instead of traditionally as a kid, kids watching child networks and cartoons like previous generations, they were preferring to watch YouTubers more than that. And although a lot of Gen Z did grow up watching YouTubers, I would say pretty...
Hey man, I ain't gonna cap. I was a low gangster. Man, I was a low gangster, to die-hard low gangster, dog. Forget the Jake Paulers or whatever the freak he called it, dog. Low gangster all the way. Shout out my boy Logan Paul, man.
Much everyone watching this did. It still wasn't the main thing for a while, and we were still watching our favorite childhood networks. But especially nowadays, since all networks have completely fallen off, kids are just watching YouTubers and streamers. And as much as we want to make fun of this, it's really not their fault. Childhood networks are officially dead. Ain't no one watching any of the new shows or talking about them, which is such a contrast to how it was growing up. I remember even growing up, some of my older family members would watch the cartoons with the kids because they were actually...
Dog, they was actually entertaining. That's what he's gonna say.
That good. It was like the...
Entertaining. Like, bro. SpongeBob goated. Bro, if you Doodle Bob, that perfect guy, dog, the hash slinging slasher. Like, come on, bro. Those are W episodes. The wee woo. Come on, bro. Wee woo, my nigga. Just W SpongeBob episodes. You got freaking Mordecai and Rigby, dog. Another, Pops, Skips. Come on, dog. Benson. Come on, dog. And don't forget about Muscle Man. Like, come on, bro. Just W characters. Disney has some... I wasn't really a Disney guy. Disney has some good shows going on at the time. Danny Phantom. That's my dang Call of Duty name. Very Odd Parents. I think that was on Disney Plus. No, it was on Cartoon Network. That's tough. Yeah, we're not finna get on Disney, bro. But Disney has some good shows, bro. Disney has some good shows. But it was mainly CNN. Or CNN, that's news now. I'm getting older, bro. We got Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, bro. Just W shows that had W characters in them, bro. Come on, man. Everybody watched it. You went to school the next day and talk about an episode. Come on, that's how good it was, bro.
last stretch of good coming out before the downfall started. Nowadays, these networks can't produce a good show to save their life. And it's sad too, knowing there could be good shows if they simply paid the people who made them. Like, they're really ruining kids' childhoods over not wanting to pay the makers of the shows. So I would say Gen Z is the last generation to experience traditional media at its peak. And that's why I think this iPad generation compared to every other is so noticeable, especially for Gen Z.
How do I remember all of that? I'm too old to remember. Because I had a good childhood, man. That's it. A good childhood, bro.
Like, Gen Z and millennials relate way more to each other than Gen Z and Gen Alpha. We both grew up more outside. We both experienced social media when it started to blow up. We both watched traditional forms of media.
Jesus Christ. The funny part about social media, too, because social media was, like, blooming. It wasn't really like, look at this, look at this, look at this on social media. It was more of a go through a day, look at this funny Vine, and then continue going through your day. I mean, it's just like, if you wasn't there for Vine, dog, that sucks. Shout out my nigga Zach King. It's a watermelon inside of a watermelon. Like, come on, bro. It sounds stupid nowadays, but back then it was goated, and no one's gonna ever talk that down, bro. But I'm talking about, like, going on social media wasn't a necessity back then. You could live life without a tablet and a phone. But nowadays, it's the opposite. Some people can't live life without that phone, bro. The same way I can't live life without this computer.
Even boomers relate to us in some way. Like, we both grew up
Which is
watching
crazy.
live TV together, at least. And the way previous generations grew up idolizing celebrities and hoping to be them one day is pretty much dead. Like, yeah, it happens, but they'd rather idolize YouTubers and streamers instead.
Okay.
And
like that, dog. What the freak is that? Who's trying to watch Kai Cenat hump a PS5? Like, bro, I don't know. Some of the stuff is just not. I can last a day without my phone. It's not that difficult. I don't got nothing on my phone that I desperately need to see for a day. The only thing I need off of my phone is that alarm clock to know when I gotta go to work. Other than that, I'm good. But it's just like, dog, some of the people today, it's brain rot. Like, I'm not finna start calling out names, but it's just brain rot, dog.
Like, people realize the fakeness of Hollywood and the whole facade of it is kind of dead. But I don't think kids looking up to YouTubers and streamers is necessarily a bad thing. Now, can it be cringe at times?
Yes.
We got Prime, boys. We got Prime. We got Prime, boys. We got Prime.
Yeah, but maybe we're just hating too much. Like, there's this joke going around right now of people eating lunchly while watching the Haktua podcast and listening to the thick of it. And people are in the comments saying this is gonna be someone's childhood, which I know is jokes and all. I've made fun of it too, but if I'm actually being serious, so long as they have a good childhood and enjoy it, I could give a what they like. Like, every generation has in some form some different type of childhood, and it's never exactly gonna be the same. When I was growing up, shoot, I know my parents saw me watching SpongeBob and probably were like,
so it's a fictional sentient sponge that lives in a pineapple who goes to work every day to cook burgers for sentient fish in the ocean. Yeah, we're completely I knew I should have pointed.
And no, I'm not comparing like SpongeBob to Skibidi Toilet, but y'all get the point. And
I
don't
still
like
have
some
no
of y'all
clue
are
what the
acting
freak
like
that
Gen
is
Z
today,
never
dog.
had brain rot and we're above that caliber. Just 10 years ago, as of recording this, people were making MLG edits with the most brain.
Don't you ever talk about MLG edits on Call of Duty? BO2? BO, just regular BO, dog. Don't ever talk about the MLG Dorito. No, come on, dog. XD, like, come on, dog.
Rot things going on.
Mountain Dew,
people were
bro.
making
Come on, bro.
YouTube poops of the most random shows ever. Even with our childhood shows. Like, you
Still
can't
haunts
tell
me
me
to this day.
Teletubbies wasn't the most seizure-inducing show for a child to watch. My point is really, I'm just hoping Gen Z doesn't become like other generations and start nagging about everything the younger generation does. And don't get me wrong, okay? I've talked my critiques about Gen Alpha already. But regardless, that doesn't mean I want them to have a terrible childhood and look back at it with shame because people made fun of them. The one thing I am scared of, though, is how early this content consumption is happening. Before kids got iPads,
Let me search this up real quick, dog. Because I gotta figure out the year range for Gen Alpha. 'Cause to be honest with you, bro, I have No clue. Age range. What's the age range between Gen Alpha? God bless America. That's all I gotta say is God bless America. The age range for Gen Alpha is from 2010 up. So 2010 to current day. Which is the most craziest thing ever to say that I missed Gen Alpha by 4 years. That makes me sound young, but I feel old.
That's the most you were getting is a leapfrog that worked half the time. It might have had a game or two on it, but that was...
And some people don't even know what a Game Boy is, which is ludicrous.
About it. But with the amount of content online and how many videos, games, and whatever...
Some people don't know what minutes is. If I say I have to put minutes on my phone, no, some people don't even know what that means. Put minutes on your phone. That's crazy work, dog. I grew up with a Nabby tablet, dog. If you don't know what it is, don't talk to me, man. I grew up with a Nabby tablet, bro. The best of the best. Hold on, I'm finna show y'all what this is, dog. I'm finna show y'all what this joint is, bro. I'm talking about goated, bro. Look at this joint, bro. I grew up with this. I don't remember playing with this, but I grew up with this. I have the box in my attic. It's somewhere, but bro, I grew up with this. This thing was goated. Talk about save my childhood, bro. Come on, man. Just go.
Whatever kids are consuming with tablets nowadays.
Amazon tablet. Nah, dog. This is before even. This was before Kindle Fire was a thing.
Like, I'm so glad
I am old.
I didn't grow with short form content as a kid because holy my brain would already be more cooked than it already is. Like,
Facts.
this content already cooks my brain and I'm a grown-ass man. I
that
couldn't
Jaleel?
imagine what it's doing to a 5-year-old. And you can even see how it's changing kids already. There's videos of parents taking their kids' tablets and the kids start fighting like their life is on the line.
Like,
Shoot,
prime
that might
Mike
be the
Tyson,
parents'
dog.
fault because if that was me and my kid, that kid is getting Mike Tyson on the spot. I'm just kidding, YouTube family-friendly guidelines. I would never do such an action, and I apologize for my jokes and actions. And the main thing tablets are affecting in kids' brains is their ability to learn, which is pretty scary because these kids are going to be future doctors and engineers, so having cognitive ability skills is kind of...
What's funny is some people don't even know who that was. Hold on. Some people don't even know who this is. If you know, you know. That's all I gotta say. If you know, you know.
I swear, in the future, attention span is gonna be so cooked, your doctor's gonna have to stop mid-surgery to scroll on TikTok. Like,
that's, bro. That is factual, bro. It was the same thing about Gen X or Gen X. What the freak is a Gen X? Gen Z growing up. The fact that they're now grown up and everybody's seeing what's actually happening with them. I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, it could be better, bro.
Good health for your own good, because your doctor in the future is not going to be able to help you. And nowadays, I've been noticing that fat phobia is kind of dying. Either all of them are going on Ozempic or hitting the gym. Even Lizzo
Facts.
is losing weight. Like, that should be a tell-all sign that the future is dim, y'all. Eat healthy. Another thing that I feel like is going away is the innocence of childhood. Nowadays, kids have unrestricted use of the internet with parents that could give less of a what they do on it. And the first tell-all sign of how bad this got was with the first Elsa Gate back in like 2016.
I don't even know
Parents
what
were
that is.
absolutely shocked and appalled at the sights they were beholding. I could only imagine them grabbing little Timmy's tablet and seeing him watch Spider-Man hum Elsa at the ferocity of a velociraptor. And you know, this could have all been prevented if they just...
I have no clue what the
actually
freak
parented their
even
kid.
Elsa Gate is, dog.
But that's not realistic, let's be real. I couldn't imagine this was the content I had to watch as a kid and I would come out as a stable, normal human being. I already feel like I started watching sexual stuff at way too young of an age anyways. But if this happened to me when I was like 4 or 5, I would be cooked. The worst we got is Dan Schneider sneaking in feet at every shot he could. And there's even kids now who grew up at the Elsa Gate time who describe how this content mentally them up. It hasn't gotten any better. In fact, it's actually...
I'm lame for not knowing what that is. It's not called being lame. It's called not being involved with today's time. Now you see, I've gotten told millions of times that I'm considered to be an old soul. If you don't know what it means, I'm not finna break it down. But if you know, you know. I'm considered to be an old soul. So, with me vibing with things that's past my, or that's before my time, and that's a little bit of my time, then that means I'm goated with not keeping up with today's topics per se.
Actually worse. And even though
you're like
cable
11.
TV is basically
or 12,
today,
11 and or 12,
kind
just
of
chill.
the protector from this stuff. If there was a child network back then, you would 100% be good as a parent to leave your kid there because you knew it's not going to show anything weird. They had actual regulators and it was only a set amount of shows a day, so it was way easier to regulate. But now it's like if you shrunk the TV, gave the kid full access to anything on it, and the regulator was Patrick. But then again, who knows how they'll turn out? I think a lot of them will grow up and eventually just forget about all this stuff, because in some way even older generations experience this. Okay, not exactly elsicate, but experience watching things as a kid they weren't supposed to. Like, I remember when I was younger and first saw Happy Tree Friends.
Hey, if you don't know what Happy Tree Friends is, dog, don't search it up, because that is okay. I remember my first time watching Happy Tree Friends. Scarring. Absolutely scarring. I had no clue what I was getting into when I first seen Happy Tree Friends, dog. Spoiler alert, they're clickbait.
I could barely watch that as an adult, but in some way I made it out fine. Seriously though, whoever thought of the concept of Happy Tree Friends is one of the sickest ever exists. And for y'all that don't know Happy Tree Friends, you've been warned. Even in the past, kids used to steal their dad's corn stash and watch it on the TV. The problem is, it's just way easier to access this compared to before. Like, even being able to get to that step is a mission.
We're not going to talk about it because we're in November.
Is learning. Traditionally, for I would
7
say
days strong.
100, 200 years, it was the same simple learning format of bringing a journal and your textbook to class, get the homework or assignment at school in paper, finish it on paper, and turn it in at school. But nowadays, since basically every school assignment is given to you online, everyone's just using AI to complete that. And it's even worse when it comes to a kid, because I could care less if you're older and you're given some bullshit assignment to write a 10-page paper about someone that no one cares about. But when it's a kid learning important developmental skills like simple reading or math, it's important that they don't cheat on any of these at all. Could you imagine a kid using ChatGPT for simple addition, then being a grown adult and not knowing how to do it? You might be a skilled mathematician in the future if you know how to add double digits. And
love games, but hate the grind.
That's facts. That's facts, man. We all cheat though. That's all I gotta say.
Specifically just online assignments, because that's really the only place you could cheat. If it's an in-person test, then you're cooked. Most of the time, you just gotta take an L on that. It's funny because in my high school classes, some of the teachers would always wonder how everyone was doing flawless on the online assignments. They're completely bombing the test. One of the teachers actually realized what was going on and changed all of her assignments so that only she made them and you couldn't cheat. So no one was able to find the online answers anymore, and some people kind of did better in the class and had to lock in on it because of that. A good requirement would be if you're in elementary school, you have to do your stuff in person only. Like, that makes the most sense. The last thing that got way worse is kids trying to act grown. And notice how I said got worse, because every single generation has had kids who have tried to act grown. Back then, you had kids getting candy cigarettes and pretending they were badass by fake smoking them. Growing up, everyone pretended to be their favorite music artist and throw a concert in their room. But the major difference between in the past versus now is kids can globally post it, and most of the time they do. In the past, if you did some stupid shit as a kid, then only you or your friends would know. But now your mistakes are gonna be aired out to the entire world. A good example is all the Andrew Tate kid clones trying to act like him, saying they're gonna fly out to Dubai with some supermodels by the time they're 18 and be a multi-millionaire. You just know they're gonna grow up and cringe at all the so hard, and it'd be completely public, so then you got people roasting them in the comments. And the thing is, I don't blame them, because if I was a kid in this era, I would probably do some shit like that too, but at least you wouldn't see it. Basically, everyone has a video they posted on YouTube as a kid they look back at. No one saw it though. But the main worry is when kids try to dress grown then post it online, because if you can't already tell, there's a lot of creeps on the internet who would intentionally look for that stuff. And the easier it is to spread now with TikTok and Instagram, Instagram, the harder it is to regulate. Once again, this is the fault of the parents, but it's already too late pretty much. The best you could do is report the accounts. So overall, I think it's safe to say that childhood has completely changed. And yes, you can have your complaints and whatnot, but I would say give some things a chance still. Because like I said, every generation had a different way of growing up. And this might be the biggest gap of it, but at the end of the day, if they're happy, good for them. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always,
follow the man socials, Brody.
Consensually. And until next time, I'm out.
Yeah, we're not finna see this man snap, bro. W video. Feel like I really aired the room there, man.